Okay, so the last video on formal charge was getting a bit long, but I wanted to give you one more example. So we're going to do phosphate, PO4 3 minus. Go ahead and do the Lewis structure for that and see what you get. Okay, and then we will do formal charges on it and see what we all get. Okay, so I assume you've done the Lewis structure. So first thing we need to do, of course, is we need to add up all of the electrons. So 5 electrons for phosphorus. We have 4 oxygens, each with 6. And then we have to add the 3 electrons, remember, because of that charge. So where does that get us? That gets us 8 and 24, 32 electrons. Okay, so we can come up with actually a couple different Lewis structures for this one. So let me do this one first. Okay, there's 2, 4, 6, 4, 6. Oops. And that is 32 electrons. Everybody has a full octet, so we can call that good. Let's give it the charge. However, we can also do this. And I know I'm not going through all the steps, but you'll just have to take my word for it. Okay, and now what you'll notice is phosphorus has 10 electrons. Is that okay? Well, yeah, it's in the third row, so it can have an expanded octet. That's fine. Oops, that should have been a 3 negative. But how do we know which one's best? You know, on the exam, say, you want to figure that out? Maybe I might ask you that question on an exam. Well, let's do formal charge, and it'll be a little quicker this time. Let's do it for this oxygen. 6 electrons minus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Minus 7 gives us a -1. And now we know that these are all -1 because they're all the same. So we don't have to go through and do each and every one. The phosphorus, let's go ahead and do the phosphorus. So 5 valence electrons for phosphorus. And it has 1, 2, 3, 4 bonds. So 5 minus 4 is +1. Okay, pretty simple. We add all these up, and they will sum to -3. So we have 4 -1 charges and 1 +1. So +1 plus 4 times -1 is -3, which is the charge on the polyatomic ion. If they don't sum up to give you the correct charge, you've done something incorrect. So that's a pretty good indication that you can use when you're doing these. All right, so we already know that this is -1. This is, whoops, not that one. That's -1, and that's -1. Now let's look at the other 2 oxygens and the phosphorus. Phosphorus again. Did I say other 2 oxygens? I meant the other oxygen with the double bond. 5 minus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 minus 5 is 0. Okay, and then that oxygen up on top there, let's see, we have 6 valence electrons, minus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, gives us 0. So which Lewis structure is the best? Well, which one has minimal amounts of charge? In other words, do we have zeros? Absolutely. We have zeros here. So that means this is the best Lewis structure. Okay. And you may have learned this other Lewis structure, say in Chem 107. That's fine. But this is the actual correct Lewis structure, this one with the double bond. And something you may or may not have picked up on. Here is oxygen with 2 lone pairs and 2 bonds. That obeys the honk rule. So the whole idea behind the honk rule, and if you don't remember the honk rule, go back to those organic compounds Lewis structure video. The HONC rule. When we follow the honk rule, you have 0 formal charge. That's why the honk rule is so handy, because it gives you 0 formal charge if you follow it and if you're able to follow it. Okay, that's enough for now.